When you listen to me, a native English speaker, speak English, you can understand lots, right? But when you want to speak out, you can't always speak fluently. Why? What's going on? Let's find out. I feel for you. No, I do, really. You can listen to English and understand a lot. You can read stuff and understand lots, but when it comes to speaking, you can't find the right words. Your mind goes blank. It's like the words in your head are beautiful, but the words that come out are not so beautiful. And you might feel that you've been stuck in this situation for a long time. I do feel for you, really. I know I've been there as a learner of French, Spanish, and Chinese. I've been exactly where you are, and I'll tell you right now, the biggest reason this happens is pressure. You see, listening and reading are passive. You just sit back and take your time. Speaking is real time. People are listening. There are expectations, there is pressure, and most people stutter. That's what happens, of course, with the pressure. By the way, my name is AJ. This is my YouTube channel. So, in this video, I'm going to tell you the 6 main reasons you may not be advancing or progressing as much as you want with your speaking fluency and what you can do about it. At the end of the video, I'll also give you some tips on how to handle that real-time pressure when speaking. Okay, sound good? Number 1, you are trying too hard to impress. And very often, that means you speak quickly. When you speak English, people are watching, waiting, expecting. It's like you're revealing yourself. You are showing a part of your personality, your identity. It's terrifying, right? And people will judge you whether it's right or wrong. They will judge not only your English, but a lot more about you. So, what we need to do is ignore the judgment. One of the most important things is not to speak too quickly, especially with native speakers and an IELTS examiner. They will speak quickly, and we often feel as students, oh, I have to speak quickly too. So, you try to speak really fast, and when you do, you lose control. It's like when a baby is starting to walk and run. Boom, they tumble and fall. The thing to do is to slow down and speak at your own pace. You can speak slowly and fluently. Really, you can. Slow down, speak at your own pace, and forget about everybody else. Number 2, overcomplicating things. You are making things overcomplicated. This is particularly true of IELTS speaking students. They try to show off some fancy vocabulary and speak out these long, complex grammatical structures. But because you are thinking so much about that when you speak, the words come out with hesitation, with pauses. There's no connection. It doesn't make sense, and the listener gets confused. The thing to do is to keep it simple, especially when you begin speaking. Forget the fancy vocab, forget the complexity, keep it simple, and build up. As you warm up and are walking more quickly, then you can maybe run a little bit. But at the start, keep it simple. Number 3, focusing on accuracy. You are focusing on accuracy because you want to speak correctly. You don't want to make mistakes. You want to speak correctly, maybe perfectly. But that means that often when you're speaking, you're thinking, is it the right tense? Is it with an S? Without an S? And therefore, as you are thinking, you're not speaking. There are gaps in your speech. Loss of coherence and your fluency start to fall because you are focusing too much on accuracy. The truth is, you need a balance of accuracy and fluency. You need both. You want to focus on communicating your idea, but have a good balance. Sometimes it's fluency, sometimes it's accuracy. Build them both up over time. Don't just be accurate and have no fluency. That's it. Let's move on. Number 4, lack of vocabulary. You lack vocabulary. This is one of the biggest problems with speaking fluency. Students do not have the words to express their ideas. It means you lose fluency, right? You are thinking of a particular item. You say, "Oh, I want one of those things. It's a tool. It's what I need for my car to, one of those things." What do you call it? And you see how your fluency falls because you're lacking these words. Yes, you can paraphrase and find a way around it, but only sometimes. Overall, if you don't have the vocabulary, especially at intermediate and above levels, you're going to struggle. Vocabulary begins very, very tangible. It's about very simple things. But as you get to a higher level, you're expressing more abstract ideas, more intangible things, concepts, and that's harder. You need a more nuanced vocabulary. So, the thing to do here is to think long-term about your English and build your vocabulary. Think like test cricket, right? Test cricket, you play a game over 5 days. When I talk to Americans about cricket and a game that lasts for 5 days, they're like, "What? That's long-term." It's the same when you're building your vocabulary. You want to be building your vocabulary over time, slowly. And as your vocabulary gets better and better, your fluency will get better over time. What you don't do is suddenly try to learn lots of vocabulary above your level. Boom, because your fluency will drop because of what I said before about overcomplicating things. When you're speaking, a lot of the time when you're practicing, use vocabulary just below your level, words you are comfortable with, confident with, know the meaning, and can express. And you'll be speaking more fluently. Of course, in the background over time, you are building up all of that vocabulary. So, you are slowly raising your game. Not cricket, but English over time. That's the way to do it. Number 5, you are shy. You are shy. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But for a lot of introverted people, I say we because I am introverted, often let our shyness affect our fluency. It doesn't have to, but sometimes it does because it means that you mumble. I'm going to do that. Sometimes your body language falls down and you lack confidence, and this can affect your fluency directly. The thing to know, and I talked about this in a recent video about being a confident speaker of English, is that you can be shy and confident. You can even use your shyness to build your confidence and be a strong, confident speaker. And then when you are not mumbling, you are speaking clearly, loudly, with a body posture to communicate, then you can speak more fluently. It takes time, it takes practice. But most of all, it takes awareness of this. If you are shy, if you are an extrovert, you probably don't have this problem. Let's move on to the last one. Number 6, you don't practice enough. Now, when I say practice, I don't mean practice speaking, although yes, you need to practice speaking lots and lots. I mean, you don't practice fluency enough. Practice fluency. What do you mean? I mean, you need to practice speaking your sentences and your ideas again and again and again. What most people do in a conversation is get their ideas across and then carry on. You move on to the next idea. Of course, when you are on your own though, practicing alone at home, I recommend you don't just say the idea once, but practice saying it again and again. This is great for IELTS speaking, repeating your sentences again and again. You are practicing fluency, just getting the idea, and practicing saying it more fluently. The other thing to do is to notice and learn phrasing and intonation. Phrasing is where the native English speaker pauses in their speech, okay? And the intonation, each phrase has an intonation pattern. There are no fixed rules for this, but there are patterns you can follow. For example, take this simple sentence, right? If I could speak fluently, I would pass my test. The phrasing here is, I stop after fluently. If I could speak fluently, pause, I would pass my test. That's how a native speaker would normally, not always, but normally, naturally phrase that sentence. And the intonation, especially with these if sentences, is dd, dd, dd. If I could speak fluently, I would pass my test. Okay? So, that pattern is common. If you can pick up these patterns, learn them, and notice them, a great place to do this is interviews. Interviews of famous people, actors, etc. On TV, you'll start noticing this. Basically, it takes all of these grammatical structures, breaks them into phrases where a native speaker would break down the phrasing, and shows you the intonation. You just repeat and practice. That really practices your fluency. It's a bit like shadowing on steroids. It's a really great way to do it. And that practicing fluency, funnily enough, makes you more fluent, right? Good. So, there you go. Now you know the 6 main reasons why you are not speaking fluently. Remember what I said at the start? Knowing is not enough. If you want to change, you need to do something now. So think about what you're going to do differently. Oh, and do you remember at the start of the video, I talked about pressure? The biggest problem with speaking fluently is that people go blank because there's the real-time pressure, the expectation, and people watching you. So, there are lots of things you can do with that. I'm just going to give you one tip today on how to handle that pressure so you can speak more relaxed and more fluently. And it's the following: breathe, smile, and make eye contact. Breathe because that physiologically is going to help relax your body. Smile because that will help you relax and it will help other people relax. When they relax, you relax, and it's a virtuous cycle. Everybody's relaxed, and the eye contact will just help again make you relaxed and other people relaxed. It's a good communication technique. Okay, so breathe, smile, and make eye contact. If I could speak more fluently, I would pass my test. That's it. I hope with this video, you will be able to speak more fluently in the coming weeks as you take action and practice more. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, turn on the notifications, and subscribe to the channel so you can find out about upcoming videos. Leave me a comment and tell me which of these tips you enjoyed or liked today. And that's it. I will see you next time in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.